Those who want to act on health care, they think we can wait till the very, very last minute. But the reality is it'll be far too late for the American people, and many of them will be stuck paying outrageous amounts of money. The vast majority of Americans who have health care, who have ACA health care and other health care, are going to have to make their decisions by November 1st, not January 1st. Yet, despite this crisis, despite the enormity of the increase in costs that Americans will have to pay for their health care, Republicans continue to dig in. They continue to say, we don't want to help on health care. We don't want to negotiate with Democrats on health care. They say there's nothing to negotiate. That's got to change soon. Has to, for the sake of the American people. Democrats want to reopen the government as soon as possible so people can get back to work, so government services are not interrupted. But we need to fix the ACA premiums right now. If Republicans fail to act now to lower premiums, the American people will correctly, wish it didn't have to happen, wish we could solve this, but they'll have to hold them. The American people will have to hold Republicans responsible when they face financial ruin. Now on the No Kings rallies. In a few days, millions of Americans in cities, towns, villages, rural areas across the country will exercise one of the most fundamental rights under the Constitution, one of the greatest things about America, exercising the right to peacefully protest, exercising the right to free speech. This weekend's No Kings rallies will be an affirmation about what America is all about. We are a democracy in America. We have no kings, despite the fact that Trump has even said he wants to become one and is acting in ways that are a threat to our democracy. In America, we do not have dictators, and we cannot allow presidents to transform the presidency into some form of dictatorship. And now more than ever, for that reason, it is vital Americans from one end of the country to the other stand up for our basic freedoms, because Donald Trump is eroding our democracy day by day by day. So this weekend, I encourage Americans everywhere, Americans who love this country, who care about our democracy. I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican or independent, a liberal or a moderate or conservative. The vast majority of Americans want to preserve this democracy. And the No Kings rally says that in a very strong way, where millions of Americans, millions, will come together to say just that we don't want kings in America. I will join the marchers to celebrate what makes this country so great. And I say to my fellow citizens, do not let Donald Trump or Republicans intimidate you into silence. That's what they want to do. They're afraid of the truth. Republicans are going apoplectic because Americans are exercising their right to free speech. Even some of them, too many of them, know that Donald Trump is threatening our democracy, and the American people are seeing just that. And that is the theme, the very appropriate theme of this weekend's rallies. No kings. No kings. So I urge Americans, speak out, use your voice, exercise your rights to free speech. And of course, there should be no violence from either side. I say to Americans, show the world how much we love this country, how much we love our values, how much we love our democracy and want to preserve it. And don't be afraid. Trump and the Republicans want you to be afraid. They don't like free speech when it's free speech they don't want to hear. But we're not going to let them intimidate us. For weeks, Republicans have tried to vilify these rallies. They call them the most ridiculous of terms, hate America rallies. These are love America rallies. They call them terrorist rallies. That's just despicable. They're trying to scare people away from their basic right to free speech, but we will not be intimidated. These are not hate rallies, as some of the right-wingers try to say. These are Save America rallies, Love America rallies, Care About America rallies. Not only is this a right to protest, which we all treasure or have treasured until recently, with this new administration seeming to not want rights to protest or even free speech when they don't agree with it. This is the right thing to do, a necessity, when Donald Trump weaponizes the Justice Department to become his attack dog and go after his political enemies, when he attacks the courts, when he intimidates the free press and tries to tell networks they're going to lose their licenses if they say things he doesn't agree with, when people are arrested and put in jail, American citizens, with no real cause and not even identification of who is making the arrest. I am so proud of Americans who will stand up peacefully. There's nothing more American than exercising the right to free speech, especially the right to dissent, especially when our democracy is at risk because of what Trump and his Republican cronies are trying to do. Remember the last No Kings rally. We saw millions of people, all backgrounds, all corners of the country, gathering peacefully. We saw American flags as far as the eye can see, and that's natural. The American flag stands for free speech. The American flag stands for the right to peacefully protest, even if Trump and his cronies don't even understand that or don't want to understand that. At these rallies, we saw people who love this country. We saw people who want to stand up for American values. We saw people who want to preserve our precious democracy. And that, sadly, is what many Republicans want to silence. We will not be silenced. Donald Trump and many Republicans in Congress are using intimidation, lies, bully tactics to prevent people from standing up, speaking out, exercising our precious constitutional rights. But I say again to every American out there who wants to participate in these weekend rallies, do not let Donald Trump or Republicans intimidate you into silence. That is what they want. That is how dictators evolve, when good people of all different beliefs and backgrounds stay silent. No King's Day says we will not stay silent. Do not, I say to the American people, do not be afraid to exercise your right to free speech. Be proud that you're doing it. Do not be afraid to peacefully protest against Donald Trump's eroding of our democracy, and do not be afraid to show how much you love this beautiful democracy, as the Founding Fathers called it, God's noble experiment. We have to keep this precious democracy. Now on the young Republicans, another sad chapter in how the Republican Party has devolved over the last few years. It's been 2 days since Politico published a horrifying story revealing thousands of private messages containing racist, sexist, and violent comments from prominent members of the Young Republicans organization. And yet, President Trump and the Republican leadership has remained silent. There's nothing but radio silence from Republican leaders who seem to claim they worry about combating political violent rhetoric. The silence from Republican leaders in the face of Hitler jokes and gas chamber jokes is deafening. Where are they? When they don't like somebody who says something on the left, they're the first to criticize them. Well, this is one of the nastiest, most vicious things that we have ever seen written by young Republicans, no less, and the Republican leadership, including President Trump, is silent. As I said, Republicans never miss a chance to preach about violent rhetoric when it comes from the other side, and of course that should be condemned. But now that it's coming from their own ranks, they're silent. Some Republicans seem to even excuse this vile behavior. This is amazing. The Vice President of the United States, no less, J.D. Vance, dismissed the messages as just a college group chat. Can you imagine if it was a group of people on the left saying some things, if he'd say the same thing? A college group chat? Does J.D. Vance really think glorifying Hitler and gas chambers is just a silly joke? Imagine if it came from the other side. We all know that Vance would be losing his mind right now. He'd be all over Fox News, decrying it. But now, since it's coming from his own ranks, he's just excusing it. Despicable, disgraceful, shameful. No matter if you're a Republican or Democrat in the middle, we all must condemn this nasty behavior and make it clear. This type of vicious rhetoric is unacceptable in America. And finally, on Gateway. On Gateway. Yesterday, President Trump and his administration terminated funding for Gateway. Gateway is the most important infrastructure project in America, period. It'll keep our economy moving, our region connecting, tens of thousands of union workers on the job. Donald Trump is trying to kill it again in pure spite and with sheer stupidity. It's petty revenge politics. And who gets hurt? It's going to screw over hundreds of thousands of New York and New Jersey commuters, choke off our economy, kill good-paying jobs. It affects New Jersey. More people use it to commute from New Jersey than from New York. What Trump has done on Gateway is vindictive, reckless, and foolish. And if Donald Trump thinks he can use New Yorkers, New Jerseyites, commuters, small businesses, union construction workers, and the first responders as political pawns, it will backfire on him spectacularly. We will fight the president on this in every way to preserve this crucial, vital infrastructure project, crucial and vital to New York, New Jersey, the Northeast economy, and the whole American economy. I yield the floor.
Number 460.
Without objection.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, today is day 16 of the Schumer shutdown. Democrats have an opportunity to end the charade today. We'll be voting in the next few moments. I expect they won't. Why? Well, for starters, the minority leader believes every day gets better for us. I'm not sure who the us is, but that's what he believes. He must be talking about Democrat leadership. Democrat politicians can't be talking about people all across the country, not the people who work every day to keep our country safe, not the federal workers who aren't getting paid. Oh no, he can't be talking about them when he refers to every day gets better for us. What Senator Schumer and Democrats in this body are really saying is this: every day of this Schumer shutdown strengthens their alliances with the far left activist groups. These radicals hold the reins on today's Democrat Party. They're driving the stagecoach. Schumer's not leading this. Jeffries isn't leading it. The people that are driving the stagecoach are the left-wing activists, and they are driving it over the cliff. Let me give you another reason why I suspect Democrats will once again refuse to reopen the government. It's because the far-left activist groups are pressuring the Democrats to keep the government closed until after their radical anti-America rally, which is going to be held this weekend. The rally, which some have labeled the I Hate America rally, is going to take place Saturday, and there'll be rallies in D.C. and across the country. We've just heard from the minority leader on the floor inviting people to attend these rallies, to participate, what I have referred to and others have as the I Hate America rally. He is a cheerleader for these far-left activist groups and their causes. All these rallies are going to be led by the far-left activists, and all will be calling on the Democrats to keep the government closed. And the Democrats in this body are beholden to every single one of these far-left activist groups, groups like, quote, #ResistTrump and American Atheists. So here's a headline from Politico. Chuck Schumer's critics are satisfied for now. The article goes on to quote the head of the far-left activist group called Indivisible. This group is organizing Saturday's radical rally. The leader of the far-left group says of the minority leader, he said, quote, "He hasn't surrendered yet. I call that progress, and we're cheering him on now." Well, 7 months ago, that same person had a very different message for the minority leader. That same person said, quote, "Senator Schumer should step aside as leader. Every Democrat in the Senate should call for him to do so." So what changed? Well, Senator Schumer started towing the line of the far-left group. He shut down the government in spite of the fact that 13 times when Joe Biden was president, he voted for a clean continuing resolution to keep the government open. Well, what changed? Well, the minority leader is now the puppet of the radical, extreme, dangerous, scary wing of his party. He's huddled with the far-left activist group for months before this shutdown. Months. They organized this shutout in Senator Schumer's office. They organized a war room for the shutdown. They're calling the Thune. Senator Schumer even gloated to Punchbowl News, quote, "We thought about this long in advance. This isn't something that just happened. They've been planning this. This is premeditated. It's a political game for Senator Schumer and the Democrats, and it is a dangerous game for every other American. People aren't receiving paychecks because Senate Democrats want to prove their allegiance to the far left. Democrats want a standing ovation this Saturday when they rise to address the radical wing of their party, the wing that's holding the reins and holding them tightly, a wing that's extreme, dangerous, and scary, that is pro-crime and anti-America. That's what we're facing, Mr. President. Senate Democrats want to be cheered on for holding hostage the paychecks of the TSA agents and air traffic controllers. Meanwhile, Americans are sick and tired of Democrats' dangerous political games. They just want to get back to work. Today, Democrats are going to have an opportunity to prove that they aren't beholden to the far left of the party. We're going to have a vote. We're going to vote on a bipartisan appropriations bill as well to fund the Department of Defense, to fund the warfighters, the troops, the people who keep our nation and our allies safe. Now, Mr. President, this bill has already come through a bipartisan appropriations committee. The vote was 26-3. 26 voted for it, only 3 voted against it. That same bill we're bringing to the floor today. And we're going to see if the Democrats are going to work with us on the bipartisan appropriation bill. They claim they want regular order. They claim they want things to work together. And it's a bill that they have said themselves it's necessary. Now, remember, Senator Schumer last year didn't bring a single appropriations bill to this floor of the Senate, in spite of the fact that 12 bipartisan bills passed out of the committee. He refused to bring any of them to this floor to fund the government when he was majority leader. Wonder who he's going to side with today. Senate Republicans this year have already approved 3 appropriations bills to fund the government. This will be the 4th. Democrats are holding the government hostage. They're holding the American people hostage. Republicans are committed to reopen the government. We are going to vote against that today. We're holding votes on our bipartisan, clean, continuing resolution, one that Democrats have voted on 13 times in favor of when Joe Biden was in the White House. Now, I believe that Democrats have an opportunity as well as an obligation to end the Schumer shutdown. We should end it today. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield the floor.
Mr. President.
Democrat Whip.
Mr. President, last week we learned that Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Machado had won this year's Nobel Peace Prize. This is a photograph of her. She did so for her steadfast and courageous fight for democracy in the once proud nation of Venezuela that unfortunately now, under a man named Maduro, has descended into chaos and dictatorship. I had the chance to visit Venezuela in 2018, just before the country's strongman Nicolas Maduro staged a sham election. The years that followed were a predictable disaster, bringing further suffering on the Venezuelan people. In late 2023, under severe repression, the Venezuelan opposition organized a primary election that selected Ms. Machado as its candidate for the July 2024 presidential election. Using a tired old playbook, the Maduro regime refused to allow her on the final ballot. Undeterred, her colleague Edmundo Gonzalez was able to run in her stead. Not surprisingly, given the country's near-failed state status, he won over Maduro with 2/3 of the vote in a process meticulously documented by domestic election observers. What did the Maduro regime do? It shamefully refused to swear him as a successor into office and forced him to flee the country. But Maria Machado refused to leave. She stayed, while the regime arrested key opposition supporters and threatened her as well. And while she remains in hiding for her own safety, she has continued to fight for those election results to be respected and a return to democracy in Venezuela. That steadfast courage in the face of such cruelty is incredible and certainly worthy of the Nobel Peace Prize. Senator Jeanne Shaheen and I were on the telephone yesterday with this brave young lady. She was as determined as ever to see a better future for the people of Venezuela. She has my continued admiration and support in that effort. On another topic, Mr. President, I want to say a few words about events in the Middle East and Ukraine. Over the long weekend, the world saw what is hopefully the beginning of the end of the war in Gaza. I want to congratulate President Trump for the historic agreement that made this possible. There are still critical elements to be negotiated and settled. But the first phase, which included the release of the Israeli hostages and a ceasefire, is a good faith start to a more inclusive agreement. It won't be easy. The remaining steps will be difficult and require sustained attention from President Trump and our allies that helped make the beginning of this agreement a reality. As New York Times columnist Tom Friedman wisely wrote this week, and I quote him, "You don't have a second to rest. As someone who wants you to succeed, I have to remind you, as hard as the first state was, you've not seen the hardest yet." I agree. There's been so much pain and suffering sparked 2 years ago from Hamas's brutal October 7th attack and the ensuing war, and it'll take a long time, if ever, to heal. But this is the best chance in a long time toward a more hopeful future where both people, Palestinians and Israelis, can live in peace. Similarly, I hope President Trump will now focus momentum from these events and equal attention on seeking an end to the war in Ukraine. I've said before, I don't begrudge President Trump for trying to engage Russian President Putin to negotiate an end to this terrible conflict. But it should be clear to everyone, and I hope it's clear to President Trump, Putin isn't interested or serious. In fact, Putin has only increased his deadly attacks on Ukraine since good faith outreach by the United States. Similarly, it's long overdue that the Senate pass bipartisan Russian sanctions, a bill that now has 80 bipartisan sponsors, a bill I'm happy to support. Putin only responds to force, military or economic, and it's time for the President and Congress to stand behind the people of Ukraine and to increase this pressure on President Putin. Mr. President, on a separate matter, I'd like to respond to the comments made by my colleague and friend, Senator Barrasso from Wyoming, on the floor this morning. Why is this government shut down? Why? What is the reason for it? The President's party is in control in the White House, in the House, and in the Senate, and yet we've stopped and the government shut down. Why? Because there's a fundamental issue we're trying to resolve for the good of the American people. And what is it? Well, let me give you an illustration. What if I told you, if you live in Illinois, that October 27th, your health insurance company is going to send you a notice at your home. It's going to announce what's going to happen to your health insurance premiums on your insurance on January the 1st of this coming year. It's also going to tell you, for many people, there's going to be a dramatic increase. Dramatic. 114%. Your premium is going to more than double. Some people will say, that's all right, got plenty of money in the bank, not worried about it a bit. But most people will say, doubled? It's already too high. What am I going to do? How am I going to afford this? What's it going to do to my family budget if I have to pay twice as much January 1st for my health insurance? How did this happen? Who did this? It's called the big, beautiful budget bill of President Trump. That's what did it. There's a tax credit that's available for millions of American families to help them pay for their health insurance premium. The Republicans eliminated it. And when they eliminate it, people are on their own to come up with the money pay for the health insurance. Is it important? I think it's critical. It's one of the most basic questions you're going to ask when you ask, how's your family doing? Are you doing okay when it comes to health insurance? If you had an unexpected large medical bill, do you have insurance to cover it? Well, for thousands, maybe millions of Americans, the new health insurance plan is going to be too expensive for them to pay the premiums. So what do? Well, you look for a plan that has a lot of money out of pocket expenditures by the people who are covered. It's a skinny policy, only in catastrophes and calamities. And that, unfortunately, is all you have. And in the meantime, you're in a situation where your family tomorrow may face a medical bill which could break the bank. That's what it comes down to. That's what this shutdown is about. We believe the Republicans should help us in helping the families across America. As I said, October 27th is a day of reckoning in Illinois for people who are policyholders there. It's going to happen across the United States. It's a policy they created on the Republican side, and we should work with them to change it. The sooner, the better. I yield the floor.
The clerk will report the motion to invoke cloture.
Cloture motion. We, the undersigned senators, in accordance with the provisions of Rule 22 of the Standing Rules of the Senate, do hereby move to bring to a close debate on the motion to proceed to calendar number 168, H.R. 5371, an act making continuing appropriations and extensions for fiscal year 2026 and for other purposes, signed by 17 senators.
By unanimous consent, the mandatory quorum call has been waived. The question is it the sense of the Senate that debate on the motion to proceed to H.R. 5371, an act making continuing appropriations and extensions for fiscal year 2026 and for other purposes, shall be brought to a close? The ayes and nays are mandatory under the rule. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Alston-Brooks. Ms. Baldwin. Mr. Banks. Mr. Barrasso. Mr. Bennett. Mrs. Blackburn. Mr. Blumenthal. Ms. Rochester. Mr. Booker. Mr. Bozeman. Mrs. Britt. Thank you. Mr. Budd. Okay, thanks. Ms. Cantwell. Mrs. Capito. Mr. Cassidy. Ms. Collins. Mr. Coons. Mr. Cornyn. Ms. Cortez Masto. Mr. Cotton. Mr. Kramer. Mr. Crapo. Mr. Cruz. Mr. Curtis. Mr. Daines. Ms. Duckworth. Mr. Durbin. Ms. Ernst. Mr. Fetterman. Mrs. Fisher. Mr. Gallego. Mrs. Gillibrand. Mr. Graham. Mr. Grassley. Mr. Haggerty. Ms. Hassan. Mr. Hawley. Mr. Heinrich. Mr. Hickenlooper. Ms. Hirono. Mr. Hoven. Mr. Husted. Mrs. Hyde-Smith. Mr. Johnson. Mr. Justice. Mr. Kane. Mr. Kelly. Mr. Kennedy. Mr. Kim. Mr. King. Ms. Klobuchar. Mr. Langford. Mr. Lee. Mr. Lujan. Ms. Lummis. Mr. Markey. Mr. Marshall.
Hi.
Mr. McConnell. Mr. McCormick. Mr. Merkley. Mrs. Moody. Mr. Moran. Mr. Marino. Mr. Mullen. Ms. Murkowski.
I tossed all mine yesterday.
You did. Mr. Murphy. Mrs. Murray. Mr. Ossoff.
For November,
Mr. Padilla.
it's under notice of
Mr. Paul. Mr. Peters.
October 9th.
Mr. Reed.
They removed the whole
Mr. Ricketts. Mr. Risch. Mr. Rosen. Mr. Rounds. Mr. Sanders. Mr. Schatz. Mr. Schiff. Mr. Schmidt. Mr. Schumer.
Who noticed it?
She did. Mr. Scott of Florida. Mr. Scott of South Carolina.
That's weird.
Mrs. Shaheen. Mr. Sheehy. Ms. Slotkin. Ms. Smith. Mr. Sullivan. Mr. Thune. Mr. Tillis. Mr. Tuberville. Mr. Van Hollen. Mr. Warner. Mr. Warnock. Ms. Warren. Mr. Welch. Mr. Whitehouse. Mr. Wicker. Mr. Wyden. Mr. Young. Senators voting in the affirmative: Barrasso, Hyde-Smith, Kennedy, Moody, Marino, Sheehy, and Wicker. Senators voting in the negative: Baldwin, Bennett, Durbin, Gallego, Kim, Murray, Schatz, and Warnock.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mrs. Gillibrand. Mrs. Gillibrand. No. Mr. Cotton. Mr. Cotton, aye. Mr. Crapo, aye. Mr. Scott of Florida, aye.
Yeah, exactly. Their spouses hung out together. They lived in similar neighborhoods.
Didn't Newt Gingrich run that?
Mr. Kelly, no.
You are to Washington.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, but the job's here.
Mr. Grassley, aye.
Right.
Mr. Husted, aye. Mr. Merkley, no. Ms. Smith, Ms. Smith. No. Mrs. Shaheen, Mrs. Shaheen. No. Ms. Hassan, Ms. Hassan. No. Mr. Schumer, Mr. Schumer, no. Mr. Ricketts, Mr. Ricketts, aye.
Yeah.
Mr. Padilla, Mr. Padilla, no. Mr. Hickenlooper, Mr. Hickenlooper, no. Ms. Lummis, Ms. Lummis, aye. Mr. Whitehouse, Mr. Whitehouse, no. Mr. Daines, aye. Mr. Mullen, aye. Mr. Cornyn, aye.
My peers.
Ms. Warren, no. Mr. Graham, aye. Mr. Peters, no. Mr. Lujan, no. Mr. Thune, aye. Mr. Risch, aye. Mr. Lee, aye. Mr. Wyden, no. Ms. Cantwell, no. Ms. Collins, aye. Mr. Warner, no. Mrs. Capito, aye. Mr. Paul, no. Mr. Rounds, aye. Mr. Fetterman, aye. Mr. Langford, aye. Mr. Murphy, no. Mr. Reed, no. Mr. Ossoff, no. Mr. Curtis, aye. Mr. Justice, aye. Mr. Schmidt, aye. Ms. Hirono, no. Mr. Kramer, aye. Mr. Heinrich, no. Ms. Ernst, aye. Mr. Marshall, aye.
Johnny.
Ms. Markowski, aye. Mr. Markey, no. Mr. Blumenthal, Mr. Blumenthal, no. Mrs. Brett, aye. Mr. Booker, no. Mr. Coons, no. Mr. Budd, aye. Mr. McCormick, aye. Mr. Sullivan, aye. Mr. Scott of South Carolina, aye. Mr. Young, aye. Mr. Johnson, aye. Ms. Blunt Rochester, no. Mrs. Fisher, aye. Ms. Cortez Masto, aye.
But I mean, I just think if there's enough trouble brewing. Yes. Yeah.
Mr. Haggerty, aye.
All right. Thanks, Tim.
I'm here until noon.
Mr. Van Hollen, no. Mr. Schiff, no. Mr. Banks, aye. Mr. Sanders, no. Ms. Klobuchar, no. Mr. Welch, no. Mr. McConnell, aye. Mr. King, aye. Mr. Hoeven, aye. Mr. Bozeman, aye. Mr. Kane, no. Ms. Rosen, no. Mrs. Blackburn, aye. Mr. Moran, aye. Ms. Slotkin, no. Ms. Alsobrooks, no. Mr. Cruz, aye. Well, Mr. Hawley, aye. Mr. Thune.
Majority Leader.
Mr. Thune, no.
No. Don't do anything. We're going to vote.
On this vote, the yeas are 51, the nays are 45. 3/5 of the senators duly chosen and sworn not having voted in the affirmative. The motion is not agreed to.
Mr. President,
Majority Leader.
I enter a motion to reconsider.
Motion is entered. The clerk will report the motion to invoke cloture.
Cloture motion. We, the undersigned senators, in accordance with provisions of Rule 22 of the Standing Rules of the Senate, do hereby move to bring to a close debate on the nomination of Harold D. Moody III of Alabama to be United States District Judge for the Northern District of Alabama, signed by 17 senators.
By unanimous consent, the mandatory quorum call has been waived. The question is it the sense of the Senate that debate on the nomination of Harold D. Moody III of Alabama to be United States District Judge for the Northern District of Alabama shall be brought to a close? The yeas and nays are mandatory under the rule. The clerk will call the roll.
Ms. Also Brooks.
Yep.
Ms. Baldwin. Mr. Banks. Mr. Barrasso. Mr. Bennett. Mrs. Blackburn. Mr. Blumenthal. Ms. Blunt-Rochester. Mr. Booker. Mr. Bozeman. Mrs. Britt. Mr. Budd. Ms. Cantwell. Mrs. Capito. Mr. Cassidy. Ms. Collins. Ms. Collins, Mr. Coons, Mr. Cornyn, Ms. Cortez Masto, Mr. Cotton, Mr. Kramer, Mr. Crapo, Mr. Cruz, Mr. Curtis, Mr. Daines, Ms. Duckworth, Mr. Durbin, Ms. Ernst, Mr. Fetterman, Mrs. Fisher, Mr. Gallego, Mrs. Gillibrand, Mr. Graham, Mr. Grassley, Mr. Haggerty, Ms. Hassan, Ms. Hassan, Mr. Hawley, Mr. Heinrich, Mr. Hickenlooper,